Lokapala Sahaganair Vaivagni Varunadayaha Tasyasan Savato Deva Nanavaha Tvajayudaha Lokapala Sahaganair Vaivagni Varunadayaha Tasyasan Savato Deva Tasya of Lord Indra, our son, situated Sarvataha, all around, Devaha, all the demigods, Nanavaha, with varieties of carriers, Tvaja Ayudaha, and with flags and weapons, Lokapalaha, all the chiefs of various higher planetary systems, Saha, with Kanai, their associates, Vayu, the demigod controlling air, Agni, the demigod controlling fire, Varuna, the demigod controlling water, Adayaha, all of them surrounding Lord Indra. Surrounding Lord Indra, King of Heaven, with the demigods seated on various types of vehicles and decorated with flags and weapons. Present among them were Vayu, Agni, Varuna, and other rulers of various planets, along with their associates. Text 27, the demigods and demons came before each other and reproached one another with words piercing to the heart. Then they drew near and began fighting face to face in pairs. Not being very friendly. O King, Maharaj Bali fought with Indra, Kartikeya with Taraka, Varuna with Heti, and Mitra with Praheti. Yamaraj fought with Kalanaba, Vishvakarma with Mayadanava, Twashta with Sambara, and the sun god with Virochana. The demigod Aparajita fought with Namuchi, and the two Ashwini Kumar brothers fought with Vrishaparva. The sun god fought with the 100 sons of Maharaj Bali, headed by Bana, and the moon god fought with Rahu. The demigod controlling air fought with Puloma and Shumba, and Nishumba fought the supremely powerful material energy Durga Devi, who is called Bhadrakali. O Maharaj Parikshit, suppressor of enemies, Arindama, Lord Shiva fought with Jamba, and Vibhavasu fought with Mahishashura. Ilvala, along with his brother Vatapi, fought the sons of Lord Brahma. Duramasha fought with Cupid, the demon Utkala with the Matrika demigoddesses. Brihaspati with Sukracharya, and Shainishchara, Saturn with Narakasura. The Maruts fought Nivata Kavacha. The Vasus fought the Kalakaya demons. The Vishvadeva demigods fought the Poloma demons. And the Rudras fought the Krodavasa demons, who were victims of anger. All of these demigods and demons assembled on the battlefield with a fighting spirit and attacked one another with great strength, all of them desiring victory. They fought in pairs, hitting one another severely with sharpened arrows, swords and lances. They severed one another's heads, using weapons like bushundis, chakras, clubs, rishtis, patishas, saktis, ulmukas, prasas, parisvadas, nistrimsas, lances, parighas, mudgaras and bindipalas. Bindipala. What's a bindipala? Something that protects a bindi, is it? Protects your head. The elephants, horses, chariots, charioteers, infantry, soldiers and various kinds of carriers, along with their riders, were slashed to pieces. The arms, thighs, necks and legs of the soldiers were severed, and their flags, bows, armour and ornaments were torn apart. Because of the impact on the ground of the legs of the demons and demigods and the wheels of the chariots, particles of dust flew violently into the sky and made a dust cloud that covered all directions of outer space, as far as the sun. But when the particles of dust were followed by drops of blood being sprinkled all over the space, the dust cloud could no longer float in the sky. Purport. The cloud of dust covered the entire horizon, but when the drops of blood sprayed up as far as the sun, the dust cloud could no longer float in the sky. A point may be observed here is that although the blood is stated to have reached the sun, it is not said to have reached the moon. Apparently, therefore, as stated elsewhere in Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, the sun, not the moon, is the planet nearest the earth. We have already discussed this point in many places. The sun is first, then the moon, then Mars, Jupiter and so on. The sun is supposed to be 93 million miles above the surface of the earth. And from Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, we understand that the moon is 1,600,000 miles above the sun. Therefore, the distance between the earth and the moon would be about 95 million miles. So if a space capsule were travelling at the speed of 18,000 miles per hour, how could it reach the moon in 4 days? I think the answer to that question, it could be going faster, right? It has to be going faster. At that speed, going to the moon would take at least 7 months. Wow. That a space capsule on a moon excursion has reached the moon in 4 days is therefore impossible. Travelling at the speed of 18,000 miles, yes. Okay, let's keep going, shall we? Translation: in the course of the battle, the warfield became strewn with the severed heads of heroes, their eyes still staring and their teeth still pressed against their lips in anger. Helmets and earrings were scattered from these severed heads. Similarly, many arms decorated with ornaments and clutching various weapons were strewn here and there, as were many legs and thighs which resembled the trunks of elephants. Many headless trunks were generated on that battlefield. With weapons in their arms, those ghostly trunks, which could see with the eyes in the fallen heads, attacked the enemy soldiers. Purport: it appears that the heroes who died on the battlefield immediately became ghosts. And although their heads had been severed from their bodies, new trunks were generated. And these new trunks, seeing with the eyes in the severed heads, began to attack the enemy. In other words, many ghosts were generated to join the fight, and thus new trunks appeared on the battlefield. Translation: Maharaja Bali then attacked Indra with 10 arrows and attacked Airavata, Indra's carrier elephant, with 3 arrows. With 4 arrows he attacked the 4 horsemen guarding Airavata's legs, and with 1 arrow he attacked the driver of the elephant. Purport: the word Vahan refers to the soldiers on horseback who protected the legs of the carrier elephants. According to the system of military arrangement, the legs of the elephant bearing the commander were also protected. Translation: before Bali Maharaja's arrows could reach him, Indra, king of heaven, who is expert in dealing with arrows, smiled and counteracted the arrows with arrows of another type, known as Bhala, which were extremely sharp. When Bali Maharaj saw the expert military activities of Indra, he could not restrain his anger. Thus he took up another weapon known as Shakti, which blazed like a great firebrand. But Indra cut the weapon to pieces while it was still in Bali's hand. Thereafter, one by one, Bali Maharaj used a lance, prasa, tomara, rishtis and other weapons, but whatever weapons he took up, Indra immediately cut them to pieces. My dear king, Bali Maharaj then disappeared and resorted to demoniac illusions. A giant mountain generated from illusion then appeared above the heads of the demigod soldiers. From that mountain fell trees blazing in a forest fire. Chips of stone with sharp edges like picks then fell and smashed the heads of the demigod soldiers. And they're illusion, they're not even real, right? But they're powerful. Scorpions, large snakes and many other poisonous animals, as well as lions, tigers, boars and great elephants, all began falling upon the demigod soldiers, crushing everything. O my king, many hundreds of male and female carnivorous demons, completely naked and carrying tridents in their hands, then appeared, crying the slogans, cut them to pieces, pierce them. No? Chindi Bindi. Chindi Bindi. Fierce clouds, harassed by strong winds, then appeared in the sky, rumbling very gravely with the sound of thunder. They began to shower live coals. A great devastating fire created by Bali Maharaj began burning all the soldiers of the demigods. This fire, accompanied by blasting winds, seemed as terrible as the Samvartaka fire, which appears at the time of dissolution. Thereafter, whirlpools and sea waves, agitated by fierce blasts of wind, appeared everywhere, before everyone's vision in a furious flood. This is pretty, just an amazing scene. Right? 1 minute there's fire, the next minute it's all water. While this magical atmosphere in the fight was being created by the invisible demons, right, who were expert in such illusions, the soldiers of the demigods became morose. O king, when the demigods could find no way to counteract the activities of the demons, they wholeheartedly meditated upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the creator of the universe, who then immediately appeared. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, whose eyes resemble the petals of a newly blossomed lotus, sat on the back of Garuda, spreading his lotus feet over Garuda's shoulders. Dressed in yellow, decorated by the Kaustuba gem and the goddess of fortune, and wearing an invaluable helmet and earrings, the Supreme Lord, holding various weapons in his 8 hands, became visible to the demigods. As the dangers of a dream cease when the dreamer awakens, the illusions created by the jugglery of the demons were vanquished by the transcendental prowess of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as soon as he entered the battlefield. Indeed, simply by remembrance of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one becomes free from all dangers. O king, when the demon Kalanimi, who was carried by a lion, saw that the Supreme Personality of Godhead carried by Garuda was on the battlefield, the demon immediately took his trident, whirled it, and discharged it at Garuda's head. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hare, the master of the 3 worlds, immediately caught the trident, and with the very same weapon, he killed the enemy Kalanemi, along with his carrier, the lion. Purport. In this regard, Śrīmad Bhāgavatam says, Kalanemya daya save, karina nihata api, sukreno jivita santaha, punastenaiva patitaha. Kalanemi and all the other demons were killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hare. And when Śrīmad, their spiritual master, brought them back to life, they were again killed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation: thereafter 2 very powerful demons named Mali and Sumali were killed by the Supreme Lord, who severed their heads with his disc. Then Malyavan, another demon, attacked the Lord with his sharp club. The demon, who was roaring like a lion, attacked Garuda, the Lord of the birds, who were born from eggs. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original person, used his disc to cut off the head of that enemy also. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 8th canto, 10th chapter of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, entitled The Battle Between the Demigods and the Demons. Whew. Okay, doesn't quite work that way. Here we go. Chapter 11. King Indra annihilates the demons. As described in this chapter, the great saint Narada Muni, being very compassionate to the demons who had been killed by the demigods, forbade the demigods to continue killing. Then Śrīmad by his mystic power, renewed the lives of all the demons. Having been graced by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the demigods began fighting the demons again with renewed energy. King Indra released his thunderbolt against Bali, and when Bali fell, his friend Jambasura attacked Indra, who then cut off Jambasura's head with his thunderbolt. When Narada Muni learned that Jambasura had been killed, he informed Jambasura's relatives Namuchi, Bala and Paka, who then went to the battlefield and attacked the demigods. Indra, king of heaven, severed the heads of Bala and Paka and released a weapon known as Kulisha, the thunderbolt, against Namuchi's shoulder. The thunderbolt, however, returned unsuccessful, and thus Indra became morose. At that time, an unseen voice came from the sky. The voice declared, "A dry or wet weapon cannot kill Namuchi." Hearing this voice, Indra began to think of how Namuchi could be killed. He then thought of foam, which is neither moist nor dry. Using a weapon of foam, he was able to kill Namuchi. Thus Indra and the other demigods killed many demons. Then, at the request of Lord Brahma, Narada went to the demigods and forbade them to kill the demons any longer. All the demigods then returned to their abodes. Following the instructions of Narada, whatever demons remained alive on the battlefield took Bali Maharaj to Asta Mountain. There, by the touch of Śrīmad hand, Bali Maharaj regained his senses and consciousness, and those demons whose heads and bodies had not been completely lost were brought back to life by the mystic power of Śrīmad. Sukadeva Swami said, thereafter, by the supreme grace of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Hare, all the demigods, headed by Indra and Vayu, were brought back to life. Being enlivened, the demigods began severely beating the very same demons who had defeated them before. When the most powerful Indra became angry and took his thunderbolt in hand to kill Maharaj Bali, the demons began lamenting, "Alas, alas." Sober and tolerant and well equipped with paraphernalia for fighting, Bali Maharaj moved before Indra on the great battlefield. King Indra, who always carries the thunderbolt in his hand, rebuked Bali Maharaj as follows. Indra said, "O rascal, as a cheetah sometimes binds the eyes of a child and takes away his possessions, you are trying to defeat us by displaying some mystic power, although you know that we are the masters of all such mystic powers. Those fools and rascals who want to ascend to the upper planetary system by mystic power or mechanical means, or who endeavour to cross even the upper planets and achieve the spiritual world or liberation, I cause to be sent to the lowest region of the universe. Purport. There are undoubtedly different planetary systems for different persons. As stated in Bhagavad Gita, Chapter 14, text 18. Urdhvam gacchanti sattvastaha. Persons in the mode of goodness can go up to the upper planets. Those in the modes of darkness and passion, however, are not allowed to enter the higher planets. The word divam refers to the higher planetary system known as Svargaloka. Indra, king of the higher planetary system, has the power to push down any conditioned soul attempting to go from the lower to the higher planets without proper qualifications. The modern attempt to go to the moon is also an attempt by inferior men to go to Svargaloka by artificial mechanical means. This attempt cannot be successful. From this statement of Indra, it appears that anyone attempting to go to the higher planetary systems by mechanical means, which are here called Maya, is condemned to go to the hellish planets in the lower portion of the universe. To go to the higher planetary system, one needs sufficient good qualities. A sinful person situated in the mode of ignorance and addicted to drinking, meat eating and illicit sex will never enter the higher planets by mechanical means. Pretty straightforward. Translation: today with my thunderbolt, which has hundreds of sharp edges, I, the same powerful person, shall sever your head from your body. Although you can produce so much jugglery through illusion, you are endowed with a poor fund of knowledge. Now, try to exist on this battlefield with your relatives and friends. Bali Maharaj replied, all those present on this battlefield are certainly under the influence of eternal time, and according to their prescribed activities, they are destined to receive fame, victory, defeat, and death, one after another. Purport. If one is victorious on the battlefield, he becomes famous. And if one is not victorious but is defeated, he may die. Both victory and defeat are possible, whether on such a battlefield as this or on the battlefield of the struggle for existence. Everything takes place according to the laws of nature. Prakrite kriyamanani gunai karmani savasaha. Since everyone, without exception, is subject to the modes of material nature, whether one is victorious or defeated, he is not independent, but is under the control of material nature. Bali Maharaj, therefore, was very sensible. He knew that the fighting was arranged by eternal time, and that under time's influence, one must accept the results of one's own activities. Therefore, even though Indra threatened that he would now kill Bali Maharaj by releasing the thunderbolt, Bali Maharaj was not at all afraid. This is the spirit of a Kshatriya. Yudhe chap yap palayanam. Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, text 43. A Kshatriya must be tolerant in all circumstances, especially on the battlefield. Thus, Bali Maharaj asserted that he was not at all afraid of death, although he was threatened by such a great personality as the King of Heaven. One more. Let's see, do we start getting purports here? No. Okay, yeah, we'll keep reading. Keep reading. A lot of this is just pure storyline. Bit of philosophy here. Text number 8 of chapter 11 of Canto 8. Seeing the movements of time, those who are cognizant of the real truth neither rejoice nor lament for different circumstances. Therefore, because you are jubilant due to your victory, you should be considered not very learned. Not very learned. Purport. Bali Maharaj knew that Indra, King of Heaven, was extremely powerful, certainly more powerful than he himself. Nonetheless, Bali Maharaj challenged Indra by saying that Indra was not a very learned person. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, text 11, Krishna rebuked Arjuna by saying, Asochan, ambasocchans tvam, pragyavadamscha bhashase, gatasun agatasumscha, nanosochanti panditaha. While speaking learned words, you are mourning for what is not worthy of grief. Those who are wise lament neither for the living nor the dead. Thus, as Krishna challenged Arjuna by saying that he was not a pundit or a learned person, Bali Maharaj also challenged King Indra and his associates. In this material world, everything happens under the influence of time. Consequently, for a learned person who sees how things are taking place, there is no question of being sorry or happy because of the waves of material nature. After all, since we are being carried away by these waves, what is the meaning of being jubilant or morose? One who is fully conversant with the laws of nature is never jubilant or morose because of nature's activities. In Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, text 14, Krishna advises that one be tolerant. Tangstatikshasva Bharata. Following this advice of Krishna's, one should not be morose or unhappy because of circumstantial changes. This is a symptom of a devotee. A devotee carries out his duty in Krishna consciousness and is never unhappy in awkward circumstances. He has full faith that in such circumstances, Krishna protects his devotee. Therefore, a devotee never deviates from his prescribed duty of devotional service. The material qualities of jubilation and moroseness are present even in the demigods, who are very highly situated in the upper planetary system. Therefore, when one is undisturbed by the so-called favourable and unfavourable circumstances of this material world, he should be understood to be Brahma-bhuta, or self-realised. As stated in Bhagavad Gita chapter 18, text 54, Brahma-bhuta prasanatma na sochati na kankshati. One who is transcendently situated at once realises the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. When one is undisturbed by material circumstances, he should be understood to be on the transcendental stage above the reactions of the three modes of material nature. Okay, I think we might finish here. What have we got? We're up to verse 8 of the 11th chapter. I'll read a few more verses that don't have purports. Translation: You demigods think that your own selves are the cause of your attaining fame and victory. Because of your ignorance, saintly persons feel sorry for you. Therefore, although your words afflict the heart, we do not accept them. Sukadeva Goswami said, after thus rebuking Indra, king of heaven, with sharp words, Bali Maharaj, who could subdue any other hero, drew back to his ear the arrows known as narachas and attacked Indra with these arrows. Then he again chastised Indra with strong words. Since Maharaja Bali's rebukes were truthful, King Indra did not at all become sorry, just as an elephant beaten by its driver's rod does not become agitated. When Indra, the defeater of enemies, released his infallible thunderbolt scepter at Bali Maharaj with a desire to kill him, Bali Maharaj indeed fell to the ground with his aeroplane like a mountain with its wings cut off. Purport: in many descriptions in Vedic literatures, it is found that mountains also fly in the sky with wings. When such mountains are dead, they fall to the ground where they stay as very large dead bodies. Translation: when the demon Jambasura saw that his friend Bali had fallen, he appeared before Indra, the enemy, just to serve Bali Maharaj with friendly behaviour. The greatly powerful Jambasura, carried by a lion, approached Indra and forcefully struck him on the shoulder with his club. He also struck Indra's elephant. Being beaten by Jambasura's club, Indra's elephant was confused and aggrieved. Thus it touched its knees to the ground and fell unconscious. Thereafter, Matali, Indra's chariot driver, brought Indra's chariot, which was drawn by 1,000 horses. Indra then left his elephant and got onto the chariot. The elephant was no longer any use to him. Airavata. Airavata is a pretty amazing elephant because it mentions in here that he carries a reservoir of water and wine. Appreciating Matali's service, Jambasura, the best of the demons, smiled. Nonetheless, he struck Matali in the battle with a trident of blazing fire. Although the pain was extremely severe, Matali tolerated it with great patience. Indra, however, became extremely angry at Jambasura. He struck Jambasura with his thunderbolt and thus severed his head from his body. When Narada Rishi informed Jambasura's friends and relatives that Jambasura had been killed, the three demons named Namuchi, Bala and Paka arrived on the battlefield in great haste. Rebuking Indra with harsh, cruel words that were piercing to the heart, these demons showered him with arrows just as torrents of rain wash a great mountain. Quickly handling the situation on the battlefield, the demon Bala put all of Indra's 1,000 horses into tribulation by simultaneously piercing them all with an equal number of arrows. Paka, another demon, attacked both the chariot with all its paraphernalia and the chariot driver. Matali, by fitting 200 arrows to his bow and releasing them all simultaneously. Paka attacked the chariot and the chariot driver by he's firing 200 arrows. This was indeed a wonderful act on the battlefield. Then Namuchi, another demon, attacked Indra and injured him with 15 very powerful golden feathered arrows which roared like a cloud full of water. Well, other demons covered Indra along with his chariot and chariot driver with incessant showers of arrows, just as clouds cover the sun in the rainy season. The demigods, being severely oppressed by their enemies and being unable to see Indra on the battlefield, were very anxious. Having no captain or leader, they began lamenting like traders in a wrecked vessel in the midst of the ocean. Purport from this statement, it appears that in the upper planetary system there is shipping and that traders there engage in navigation as their occupational duty. Sometimes, as on this planet, these traders are shipwrecked in the middle of the ocean. It appears that even in the upper planetary system, such calamities occasionally take place. The upper planetary system in the creation of the Lord is certainly not vacant or devoid of living entities. From Śrīmad Bhāgavatam we understand that every planet is full of living entities, just as Earth is. There is no reason to accept that on other planetary systems there are no living beings. Translation: thereafter Indra released himself from the cage of the network of arrows. Appearing with his chariot, flag, horses and chariot driver, and thus pleasing the sky, the earth and all directions, he shone effulgently like the sun at the end of night. Indra was bright and beautiful in the vision of everyone. When Indra, who is known as Vajradhara, the carrier of the thunderbolt, saw his own soldiers so oppressed by the enemies on the battlefield, he became very angry. Thus he took up his thunderbolt to kill the enemies. O King Parikshit, King Indra used his thunderbolt to cut off the heads of both Bala and Paka in the presence of all their relatives and followers. In this way he created a very fearful atmosphere on the battlefield. O King, when Namuchi, another demon, saw the killing of both Bala and Paka, he was full of grief and lamentation. Thus he angrily made a great attempt to kill Indra. Being angry and roaring like a lion, the demon Namuchi took up a steel spear which was bound with bells and decorated with ornaments of gold. He loudly cried, "Now you are killed." Hata asi iti. Thus, coming before Indra to kill him, Namuchi released his weapon. O king, when Indra, king of heaven, saw this very powerful spear falling toward the ground like a blazing meteor, he immediately cut it to pieces with his arrows. Then, being very angry, he struck Namuchi's shoulder with his thunderbolt to cut off Namuchi's head. Although King Indra hurled his thunderbolt at Namuchi with great force, he could not even pierce his skin. It is very wonderful that the famed thunderbolt that had pierced the body of Vritrasura could not even slightly injure the skin of Namuchi's neck. Okay, what's going to happen next? When Indra saw the thunderbolt return from the enemy, he was very much afraid. He began to wonder whether this had happened because of some miraculous superior power. Purport: Indra's thunderbolt is invincible. And therefore, when Indra saw that it had returned without doing any injury to Namuchi, he was certainly very much afraid. Indra thought, formerly, when many mountains flying in the sky with wings would fall to the ground and kill people, I cut their wings with this same thunderbolt. Vritrasura was the essence of the austerities undergone by Twasta, yet the thunderbolt killed him. Indeed, not only he, but also many other stalwart heroes whose very skin could not be injured even by all kinds of weapons were killed by the same thunderbolt. But now, although the same thunderbolt has been released against a less important demon, it has been ineffectual. Therefore, although it was good as a Brahmastra, it has now become useless like an ordinary rod. I shall therefore hold it no longer. Sukadeva Goswami continued, while the morose Indra was lamenting in this way, an ominous, unembodied voice said from the sky, "This demon Namuchi is not to be annihilated by anything dry or moist." The voice also said, "O Indra, because I have given this demon the benediction that he will never be killed by any weapon that is dry or moist, you have to think of another way to kill him." After hearing the ominous voice, Indra with great attention began to meditate on how to kill the demon. He then saw that foam would be the means, for it is neither moist nor dry. Thus Indra, king of heaven, severed Namuchi's head with a weapon of foam, which was neither dry nor moist. Then all the sages satisfied Indra, the exalted personality, by showering flowers and garlands upon him, almost covering him. Purport: in this regard, the Shruti mantras say, "Apam venena namuche shira indro darayat." Indra killed Namuchi with watery foam, which is neither moist nor dry. Translation: Vishvavasu and Paravasu, the two chiefs of the Gandharvas, sang in great happiness. The kettle drums of the demigods sounded, and the Apsaras danced in jubilation. Vayu, Agni, Varuna, and other demigods began killing the demons who opposed them. just as lions kill deer in a forest. O king, when Lord Brahma saw the imminent total annihilation of the demons, he sent a message with Narada, who went before the demons to make them stop fighting. The great sage Narada said, "All of you demigods are protected by the arms of Narayan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and by his grace you have gotten the nectar. By the grace of the goddess of fortune you are glorious in every way, therefore please stop this fighting." Sri Sukadev Goswami said, accepting the words of Narada, the demigods gave up their anger and stopped fighting. Being praised by their followers, they returned to the heavenly planets, to their heavenly planets. Following the order of Narada Muni, whatever demons remained on the battlefield took Bali Maharaj, who was in a precarious condition, to the hill known as Astagiri. There on that hill, Śrīmad brought to life all the dead demoniac soldiers who had not lost their heads, trunks and limbs. He achieved this by his own mantra known as Samjivani. Bali Maharaj was very experienced in universal affairs. When he regained his senses and memory by the grace of Śrīmad, he could understand everything that had happened. Therefore, although he had been defeated, he did not lament. Special characteristic of Bali Maharaj. Purport. It is significant that Bali Maharaj is here said to be very experienced. Lokatattva vichakshanaha. Although defeated, he was not at all sorry, for he knew that nothing can take place without the sanction of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Since he was a devotee, he accepted his defeat without lamentation. As stated by the Supreme Personality of Godhead in Bhagavad Gita chapter 2, text 47, Karmanyevadikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana. Everyone in Krishna consciousness should execute his duty without regard for victory or defeat. Labha labho jaya jayo. One must execute his duty as ordered by Krishna or his representative, the spiritual master. Anukulyena Krishna anushilanam bhakti uttama. In first-class devotional service, one always abides by the orders and will of Krishna. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 8th canto, 11th chapter of the Śrīmad Bhāgavatam, entitled King Indra Annihilates the Demons. Okay. I think we're finished there. We can start tomorrow on chapter 12. What's the time? Oma Gyana Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Jena Tasmaya Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Tadati Svapatantikam Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Karim Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Sri Gurum Dinatarinam. A lot going on here. Some interesting points that Prabhupada makes. He, I think, somewhat controversially for some, states that, as Prabhupada consistently stated, that they didn't go to the moon. Right? Based on the calculations of the distances between the moon and the sun and earth, calculated in the Bhagavatam, right? And of course Prabhupada had great faith and conviction based on the statements of the Bhagavatam. Which is a characteristic of a devotee, faith in the order or the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the devotees, Sukadeva Goswami in particular. So, I think that's, one of the features of this story, these stories, or these presentations in the Bhagavatam is the character of Bali Maharaj and his tolerance in defeat. The demigods were always going to defeat the demons. This is just the rule, right? That's the rule of universal affairs. Although from time to time, the demons also show great prowess and strength, right, to challenge the demigods. And of course that's what's happening. There's always this tension between the asuras and the devotees or the demigods. And so we see, and this battlefield is an absolute mess. After everybody's... It's interesting how at the beginning everybody's enthusiastic and everything's neatly ordered and all of the fighters are looking very enthusiastic and determined and looking very attractive, actually, on both sides. But by the time the fighting is over, the place is just a mess. Everything's just strewn to pieces, and you've got this, this really in the middle, or you got this situation where the demons are creating illusory obstacles for the demigods, and completely bewildering them with their illusions. Another symptom of Bali's great power. But ultimately Bali was defeated, but not morose. And Prabhupada points out makes the point about how a devotee is equipoised in victory and defeat and maintains their enthusiasm and their determination to carry on their service effectively. And eventually Bali Maharaj was saved by Śrīmad and was able to continue on. And later on it's revealed, what a great devotee Bali Maharaj, which is exemplified, or his behaviour characterises this quality of tolerance and maintaining enthusiasm just in the face of all difficulty. So we will continue on with chapter 12, right? Which is Mohini Murti, bewildering Lord Shiva. Any comments, questions, thoughts, reactions? Yeah. What's that?
It's very interesting to see the interaction between the demigods and the demons there, which quite resembles to the people in the material world here, fighting.
Yeah, there's always fighting going on. And usually fighting just creates a mess, as we're seeing. Fighting creates a mess that you've got to clean up.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, thank you for the class. What's the reason that why Lord Brahma wanted to stop the fighting, like the killing of the demons?
It's not mentioned here. But if you look at the results, the end results of a big battle, you have a few winners and a lot of losers. Even the winners are losers. And so therefore, better to have a peaceful environment where there's less, where there's not so much conflict. And the idea being that in those peaceful situations, the devotees can chant Hare Krishna, perform their bhajan and perform their devotional service. Although, having said that, their fighting to subdue the demons is the service of the demigods, service of Indra especially. But still, that setting is, it can be bewildering, as we're seeing here, for those who are participating. And so it's not very conducive to spiritual practice. Huh? Fighting on a battlefield is not much job. And we look at the news. Look what's happening in Israel and Lebanon and Gaza and Ukraine and Africa, North Africa, Northeast Africa, even in West Africa. A lot of fighting, right? And what happens? Citizens suffer like anything. Everybody's disturbed, they're fearful, there's animosity. So not a conducive environment for almost anything. People are displaced. Could you imagine if somebody started dropping bombs in Albert Park and we have to pack everything up and go walk somewhere? Just look for another place to live and have nothing to go to. And you just take your whatever possessions you can salvage because it all got blown up. Well, we can conceive of that. Or very difficult to conceive of it. So broadly, I think any devotee would prefer to see a peaceful environment where you can practice your devotional service, right? Yeah. Broadly. So, but it doesn't say here why Lord Brahma wanted them to stop fighting, but it seems pretty obvious. What do you think? Makes sense. Okay, we'll live to fight another day. Oh, we're not fighting, are we? Well, but Prabhupada says, fight in the battle for existence. So, okay, tomorrow, chapter 12. Kanchara Śrīmad Bhāgavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivedanta ki jai, Hare Bol.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Smat Parang Saparitarya Vacharya Sattva Nam Sarvusam Bhagi Ananta Kodi Vaishnavindra ki Navacharya Siddhartha Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal